Okay, welcome back to part 6 of my directory engine course, where I'm going step by step on how to set up a niche directory and generate leads from that directory within Ligna. If you haven't liked and subscribed to my channel, please do so. All these videos are coming out in order. This video, I'm going to walk through on how to set up a cadence. You could also do workflows, but I'm using cadence in this case to automate a claim your listing email that's going to go out to these listings that we're automatically creating with our worker technology. So we're going out and pulling data from Google Maps and generating these listings automatically, pulling the company information, and the ones that we have email, we're going to invite them to claim their listing. Why that's powerful is, although we get the company information, when they claim their listing, they're giving you all their information. So you can contact them directly. You can also trigger additional workflows and automated emails and those types of things. So the first step is to create your email template. Now I've already set this up, but basically you come over here to templates and then click on email. And so I already have an email template that I use that already has my branding, but you can go ahead and set one up yourself or import another one. But basically I've set up the first one called claim listing email. And this one's a little unique because we have some tags that you need to use to, one, be able to show in that email the listing that was generated from our automated system, from our worker technology. In addition to that, a unique URL to allow them to click on and actually claim the listing. And so this is just my email template that I use. The whole idea of it is to claim your listing. We're giving you a free local citation that helps them rank locally on maps, especially with the indexing power that we have. So it's a good backlink. And I just put some information in there about why they should claim their listing. And so I typically link out to the directory. If you haven't used this system before, it's pretty simple. It works just like any other, pretty much what you see is what you get editor. But this link here, I'm going out directly to the lawyer directory here. And then as you go down, I have this check out your listing link. And so this is where the tags are set to automatically generate this URL for them. That's why it's important. If you haven't watched the previous videos, obviously you should. There's a video of how to set your directory up. There's certain base URLs for your profile. There's a base URL for your category. You need to put those in. That way you can leverage them in this particular email because it's going to generate a unique URL for their actual listing when it's created when leveraging the worker technology. So that particular tag and link, when you click on here and then click on link, is curly bracket, directory space URL, all caps on URL, and then close off with curly brackets. Essentially, the next step in this is we're going to set up a data form. This is the name of the field that you're going to want to put in your data form, because essentially when it creates the directory URL, it's going to also put that into the data form. And this is just a tag within the data form. So this is the URL or the tag it needs to be. This will dynamically generate that directory URL after we automatically create that listing. And so you just supply that. You don't need to put anything else in there, just this URL, just like this, directory space URL, all caps. And you can put it however you want. Again, any email template that you have, wherever you want them to claim your listing or view their listing. This is view their listing, not claim. This is the tag. Next tag. So I have claim your listing now. It's 100% free and only takes a minute. So this particular link is actually where you're going to get this. So we're going to append our normal URL. So when you come back over here to the directory, click on networks and then directories, go into your directory, and down at the bottom, you're going to want to append your role. In previous videos, we talked about setting all this up. So you're just going to append your role to get your URL again. Go ahead and hit OK and then hit copy. So we want all this URL, but we're going to add to this URL. This is super important or this won't work. So you're going to come back over to your email template, and where you have your link, whatever, if you're going to start a new link, you highlight that, you click on the link icon and then put your link in. In this case, I already have it. So I'm going to click on the link and open it up, and you'll see that all this right here, this original link, is what I just copied. What I added to it is ampersand dir underscore ID, and then equals curly bracket, directory, capital D, space ID, capital, right? And then close here. So hopefully you can see that. Let me try to increase this real quick and pause the video and write that down. Like I said, it's gonna be in the previous videos I have the system variables. It's gonna have a whole section with the directories and all the different tags. But if you wanna start leveraging this now, all you're doing is adding this to the end of the URL that we just copied. And what that's going to do is when it automatically creates the directory, it's going to pass over the directory ID to this URL. And if that ID exists in the URL, when that customer or that business owner clicks that link, when they go and register and sign up, it's going to move that directory into their account and claim it for them. And so it's super important that that's the format. So this is the link I just copied from the directory section here, right? And then I added this at the end. So ampersand dir underscore ID equals curly bracket, directory with a capital D, space, ID, capital, close out your curly brackets. That's it. If you can understand that concept, that's all you need to do. That's the most complex thing of this whole thing, really, to understand, other than if you want to do your own custom directory outside of the templates that we have. But super simple, and that's all you need. And so you have your check out your listing, and then you have your claim listing. You know, write yourself a good subject line, and then once you have your template, you're good to go. Now I have two other templates back here that I'm using that are generic. So I got the GMAP automation general email 1 and 2, just talking about different elements within the platform and different things. And so we'll add that into our cadence as well. So I'm going to come over here now that I have my email template set up. Now you do need to integrate your email. So watch the video on how to integrate email. So you do need to have an email set up, whether you're using our internal SMTP or you're using your own external SMTP or you're using Office 365 or G Suite. You got to set up your email first as well, which I have training videos back here to do that. And I don't need to spend time kind of going through that, but you would set up your actual email accounts. So now I'm going to come over here to cadences. Sorry, my apologies. Now that you have your email template set up, you got to set up that data form. This is where it comes into those tags that I was talking about needing to create. And so you're going to come over here to data, and then you click on data forms. So I've already set one up. And if you haven't watched our worker technology videos and are not familiar with data forms and all of that, you need to watch all that. But data forms are essentially how the data comes into our platform initially. And the tags within the data form is what's generating in that email. So for example, I've created the Lawyers Network data form. And in this data form, I've set up all my fields that I'm capturing from the worker. The worker technology, again, is going to pull this business data and sending it over to the CRM automatically. And that data that we're capturing is company, email, phone, address, city, state, zip, country, website, Google business profile. So it has to be spelled exactly like that to map automatically for you. So it's just Google business profile. Industry, obviously, when you set up industry, it maps to it. And then directory URL. Remember in the email template, I had directory URL as a tag. That's exactly how you create this form field, directory with URL spelled exactly like that. And then you also need to create it directory ID. So this is going to allow that data to flow over, store it inside the actual lead record too. So not only you get the Google business profile, you get the actual URL that's generated for it. It's saved as a lead in the CRM, and then also the ID to the directory. Of course, it also creates it in the listing section within the network. But now this allows you to leverage that data inside the CRM for additional activities over and beyond what we're currently doing. So when you set up this data form, make sure you create all these fields. Right? Company, email, phone, address, city, state, zip, country, website, Google business profile, all case sensitive, industry, directory URL, directory ID. Once you build one of these, right, you can clone it and use that as the next one for every additional directory that you do. And so now that I have my data form set up, I have my email template set up, now I can actually move into creating the cadence. And essentially when that lead is created into that data form, it's going to trigger that cadence, which sends out that claim your invite email that passes them directly through to the directory to obviously create an account and that user role. So it kind of closes everything up here. So make sure you have all these fields. Next, I'm going to come over here to marketing and cadences. And so I already have my home improvement network cadence I have set up. So I'm going to set up a new one. Warriors. Can't spell. Warriors network. I'm going to select that new data form that I set up. This is going to trigger any steps that I set up in this cadence if they go into this data form. Of course, I'm using workspaces this time, so I'm going to go ahead and select that and hit create. You know, like I said, you can set up workflows, additional stuff. I mean, the real difference between cadences and workflows, cadences are just a sequence of emails, SMS, voicemail drops, call stages from the time that lead comes into that data form. Workflows are automations such as add lead labels. You may want to trigger an opportunity. You may want to assign the lead to somebody else. You may want to pass over an API call, those types of things. So a lot of different combinations of the modules outside of just sending email and text message. You can still do email and text message and workflows. So if you want to use workflows, you're familiar with that more, you can do that. I like using cadences for this particular segment within the flow as far as generating, email invites to claim their listings. So I'm going to go ahead and drag over send email. So just drag it over to the canvas, and I'm going to just name this email 1. So the schedule, if it's set to 0 minutes, that means the second that lead is added to this data form, this email is being triggered. Anytime you bring another node over to the canvas, and let me just move this over a little bit. Anytime you bring another node to the canvas, the time schedule is from the previous step. Unlike workflows, all the timing is from when that lead is actually added or whatever the event is. It's from that time. Cadences, it's from the previous step. So my first step, I want it to go out immediately. I'm going to go ahead and grab my email account that I want to use. I'm going to go ahead and grab my first email, which is the claim listing. And my email is set. So my first email is set. So any listing that's created, sent over to this data form, it's going to generate that URL. It's going to use my tags that I've set up from the data form, right? So these tags here, directory URL that's in my data form, it's going to append that into this email. And then of course my claim listing email as well, or link as well. So I have that. Now I want to give another, let me go ahead and get rid of this. Let me go back to my email. I'm not sure what's going on. There we go. Just need to refresh it. So now I'm going to do my second email. My second email, I'm going to drag over to the canvas. Now there's other things you can do. You can do if statements and bring this over and ultimately set up true or false based on engagement, link clicks. I'm not doing all of that just yet. I am just doing 3 email sequences that are going to go out. Email 2, I'm going to do 3 days later. Select my email account. I'm going to grab the general one. And I'm all set. Now I'm going to drag over my third one. And I'm going to do email 3. And I'm going to do 3 days from the previous step. So 6 days, they're going to get 3 emails from us. And I'm going to do the second one. So that's it. I have my cadence set up. You can get as complex as you want. You can set up additional workflows. You can do whatever you want to do on that data form that's coming in. As long as you have all of those fields set up, you're good to go. And now I have my cadence set up. I have my website going. I have my blog generating content, which is super cool. Previous video I was showing you, we're already on March 18th, right? So it's continuing to generate all these blog posts for us. The only thing I'm missing now is the data. So the next video, I'm going to walk through on how to set up a worker, actually use the data form that's set up there, push data into here, and start watching, all of those invites go out. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. The next video is actually going to make all this very valuable. So I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks and have a great night.